I'm trying to envision a different mechanical universe for a game like this.
I just think it's hard when the flavor of the universe is that there are minions of a big bad, and all of them just want to kill you,
right?
And they don't stop to talk. So like, it's because like immediately my mind goes to talking them down or having a dialogue, like Fallout style, where you often can have conversations with enemies before you get into combat. Which is one of
my favorite parts of the original Fallouts. Absolutely.
Yeah.
You can win Fallout 1 without fighting us or killing a single enemy, aside from those that are plot mandated.
Right. It's like Metal Gear's that way too.
Dishonored was like that, which I appreciated.
Although it wasn't until Metal Gear Solid 2 that you could completely, like, without even killing bosses.
There's like a trope too, like in westerns and stuff, like the kind of reluctant gunslinger kind of character that like he has the height of skill, but he doesn't kill anything. He's very reluctant to draw his gun.
It also reminds me of even relatively recent modern real-world sheriffs who didn't carry guns because they didn't feel like it was necessary.
Yeah, man.
They could talk their way through in real-life situations. You know?
I did see an article recently that was, obviously, not to get too out there, but a lot of the police violence lately, it was like alternatives to police. And one of them was having like community members, especially like ex-criminals or something like that, act as kind of intermediaries for conflicts and things like that, like patrol the neighborhood kind of. But it was a non-violent like alternative to a certain degree. We've murdered so many creatures. That's all I'm saying.
You feel the weight, the burden of the blood on your hands.
The blood burden, yeah.
Well, to be fair, there's no blood on your hands.
That's true. I haven't
bear witness to my atrocities.
But I haven't done anything about it, which makes me just as...
You're complicit.
I'm complicit in the violence.
Yeah.
I mean, I know it's silly to approach it that way, but I am kind of interested in kind of the implications of the game's language.
I think fundamentally then what you'll still struggle with is like making it a game, making it a thing that is fundamentally enjoyable to play.
That I guess what I'm looking for is like, I love this game. What's an alternative way to imagine it existing? You know what I mean? Like, what's an alternative to it? That's as fun.
I think
you know what I mean?
There are also there are Dragon Quest games that are not the mainline numbered games, but that do some of that. I feel like there's one that's like a monster hunting game, like a Pokemon sort of deal.
Yeah, I think you're right.
I'm pretty sure there is one. Oh, come on, it's dodging my crits,
dude. And this is totally stupid, but honestly, like, imagine if rather than the same mechanics, but rather than killing the wizard, you are like it was like diplomacy, like dragon diplomacy, and you just chat with all of these folks. You know what I mean?
There's
rather than attack, you have a chat skill or something. You know what I mean? Like, imagine that.
There's in Digimon World for the PlayStation 1.
Lay it on me.
There is a sort of mechanic in that where the Digimon that are even any Digimon that you fight, they're like, I don't know what I'm doing. It's like they're, oh man, I don't remember exactly the flavor, but it's like they're confused or something.
Yeah.
They're not actually trying to hurt you or your Digimon or whatever. And then when you beat them, you don't kill them or knock them out or anything. They just snap out of it, and they're like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I was being such a douchebag." You know.
Yeah.
Here's some important information for you to know where to go and what to do.
Absolutely.
But also, like, the fights are way rarer in that game. You don't fight nearly as much.
So, a feminist counterexample, to male violence in superhero cartoons is honestly in Sailor Moon. If you follow it, eventually she gets the moon stick, which is its name. But I don't know if you've ever watched Sailor Moon.
I did when I was a kid. I don't remember very much of it.
But rather than kill the enemies, Sailor Moon's the rest of the scouts help her, like, they damage the enemy. You know what I mean? Such as she's vulnerable to Sailor Moon's attack. but it is moon healing. She basically restores them back to their original state. They've been corrupted by evil.
Man, I don't remember this.
Yeah, moon healing escalation.
I feel like most of what I remember is the romance subplot between Sailor Moon and Tuxedo Mask.
Yeah, that's fair.
And beyond that, I don't really remember a lot about that show.
Basically, the Sailor Moon's just kind of a force of compassion. It's in all like she's victorious and she's a soldier to a degree, but it's not based on violence.
That is interesting.
I mean, it's striking because it's so unique in the kind of language of things like this. It's funny because it's not questioned at all. You know what I mean? Like, you murder things. If you suggest that you play the game otherwise, it sounds ridiculous.
Well, especially when, I mean,
that's all I'm saying.
It's also like the problem is it's also the language of real life is violence in a lot of ways.
Exactly.
And when you go back to a time when people were, getting swords and things, not necessarily that there were slimes around to slap with them, but
they were probably killing other people.
Yeah, I mean, death is a part of life, and then modern fantasy media has embraced that with Game of Thrones being a show where people just get killed all the time for very poor reasons. Just like,
I guess
I am bigger and stronger. I will kill you.
I guess what I see is like the potential radical material is to posit an alternative that will gradually. You know what I mean?
Say that again.
Like the potential radicalism of a potential radical alternative to that world is to posit something other than a system of violence. You know what I mean? Basically this game is kind of perpetuating that sense of how the world is.
Sure. I don't.
And it's very. I mean, it's not like it's overt impact, but
I guess I just don't see that the media that's consumed is what is doing that.
No, I don't think it's doing it. I think it's more symptomatic of
of
a world, of a sense of what the world is. But you can begin to resist it by positing an alternative in the media, if that makes sense.
Sort of.
I mean, as much impact as that has.
I see, you could have a kid that never watches TV their entire child life, and then they'll still fight a kid. It's
I don't know. I mean, I think it's just an overall cultural thing. Maybe it's a human nature thing. I don't know.
I mean, there's definitely something to be said for resisting a base impulse to be violent, but I don't think you will ever eliminate it. People get angry.
Yeah, no, I mean...
People want to hit other people.
No, I think that might be all the more reason to create a media that resists that impulse. If you're interested in that, in crafting some sort of politically radical media. That said, I think if you were to reclaim something interesting here, it would not be that mechanic, but the suggestiveness and wonder of the world.
Well, it's kind of like, there are plenty of games now that are similarly exploratory, similarly a world that feels like it has limitless potential,
Exactly.
Oh, now this chest is empty?
Oh, no. Maybe you exhausted it.
I can't fill it anymore. But, you look at, Minecraft or something, where you can even, set the game in such a way that there is no violence at all. And it's entirely about exploration and construction and deconstruction. And even when there are enemies, the violence is so not...
Yeah.
It's not even productive. You don't get anything, really, except maybe some materials that you could sort of need, I guess. I mean, I haven't played Minecraft in a long time, but...
Right.
I mean, I remember that one of the most important things that you could get from a skeleton was, bone dust, and that was because it worked as fertilizer.
Yeah.
For growing stuff. So, even then, it was just, a means to create, not to just personally better yourself. I mean, it was a means to better the... environment that you were creating, but
sure,
it's definitely not making your numbers go up.
Right.
You're not personally becoming stronger. The enemies are always the same strength, regardless of how many of them you've killed. the game becomes not about that. In fact, often the game becomes ways to block the enemies away so that you don't have to deal with them at all.
Interesting.
Just like fencing them out.
Right. Yeah, Minecraft's a really cool example of an alternative approach.
Mm-hmm.
Man, I loved Minecraft.
That's like one of those games that I leap to whenever, because like,
Yeah.
our peers are getting to the age where they're having kids and stuff and talking about limiting screen time, and I always have a really hard time.
I'm not familiar with this, I guess.
The concept of screen time?
Yeah.
Where it's like, Johnny has 1 hour of screen time every day. And that means like...
Meaning like time to play games.
If he wants to watch a TV show, it'll be half an hour of his screen time. And then if he wants to play Minecraft, he only gets half an hour. It's like, oh, wait a minute, you're equating an empty, passive experience like watching a TV show to playing Minecraft? Like, it's not even remotely the same. Minecraft is a form of like expression and problem solving and creative thinking and like...
That's a good
TV is TV. Putting those on the same level and saying, you can have this or this, but only 1 hour no matter what is like really dumb to me.
That's interesting, man.
Penny Arcade had a comic about it, and I know Penny Arcade, blah, blah, blah. But they had a really good comic about it where, it was like, basically, it went exactly along those lines of like, well, we only give our child 1 hour of screen time a day. And it's like, what other tools for creativity do you arbitrarily limit? How much paper time does he get every day? It's like it's one of those things where for all the negatives that are associated with Minecraft, like all of its endless imitations and like how awful kids can be to each other on online servers and stuff, it's like still like there's just so much potential there for helping people express themselves in a novel way and affect an environment.
Yeah. Personally and anecdotally, I just feel like Minecraft expresses the kind of wonder that I'm talking about. Like, just being in that world, like, making something for your own. I used to build, like, I was on a little server, and I just build tunnels underneath everything else.
I've done that on servers before.
I don't know why, but it was
not mess with anyone's stuff, but just connect it.
Connect it. That's exactly what I did. Exactly. I don't know why that was so fun for me, but yeah, it was wonderful. But like, again, like not at all predicated on violence or taking things from people.
Yeah, no.
Just the sheer joy of creating something, and in some sense, sharing something with people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I feel like that's what Minecraft does really well. It's about, it could be, at its best form, about sharing and community.
And it's also like about...
Level 1-1.
Alright, what do we get? Power 5. Max hit points 8. Nice. Maximum magic by 9. Jeez Louise. That's a good level.
Yeah.
But one of the things that I definitely experienced in Minecraft for myself, I played it in beta 1,000 years ago, and then they put it on an Xbox 360, and I definitely enjoyed watching videos on YouTube or whatever, and playing Minecraft in the corner of my eye. And one of the things that was kind of interesting is because on the Xbox, there aren't really like public servers so much. It was just kind of like you could invite your friends to come check out your stuff.
Okay.
That it was more about like creating a world that either like really expressed you, or what I ended up doing a lot of was like creating my own just mythos.
Yeah.
Like building these crazy temples and labyrinths and like digging all the way down to the bottom and creating an enormous tower that extended from the top of the world to the bottom, and
it's incredible, man.
And like trying to understand the significance of the thing that you're creating while just following the pattern in your brain for whatever it is that you're building. Like, I'm going to build a huge pyramid with a tower down the center, and I guess we'll have a torch every 5 blocks vertically. But then, like, why is that a thing? And like, why are there tunnels in this particular direction and stuff like that?
That's absolutely so. What I used to do is, I was on a small server. It was not public, but there was a handful of people who would build things. They'd built like their own lavish homes and sorts of things and projects that they were working on. So I decided to just like strike out west and just like would head west and then build watchtowers that could be seen kind of one-to-one to form a chain. I don't know. It wasn't complicated or anything, but it was something that I don't know.
Yeah.
It's kind of like mapping the world.
I definitely know that feeling too. I definitely got onto a small private server that you could just ask to be a part of, and is functionally public in a lot of ways. And like it had the mods where like you can own particular chunks, and so someone else can't edit on your chunk.
Interesting.
And so I elected to get a chunk, but not actually like privatize it. It was just an open chunk that no one wanted.
Interesting.
And it had like a mountain, and I got to the top of the mountain, dug in a tower like into the mountain. So it was like, here's the top of the mountain, and from the top I dug down, 9 square all the way down to the bottom. Mm-hmm. But at the top I kept it covered with grass and with stones, so it was completely hidden. So it's like, eventually someone is going to get this chunk, and they're going to dig the top layer off the mountain and discover this enormous underground tower inside.
That was the thing with all my little tunnels.
I like creating mysteries for other people.
Yes, that was
absolutely.
That was
most of what I did.
That's so weird that you said that, because it's absolutely the thing that appealed to me. Yeah. My goal was to secretly connect every building that everyone else had built on our server.
Right.
But I would obscure the entrances. I had tunnels through tunnels. They were all bricked off from each other. Mm-hmm. So every time I'd move through them, I'd brick and re-brick. Mm-hmm. And then I would hide, like, I had my own room, but it was hidden behind like 3 or 4 walls in the middle of all my other tunnels. Mm-hmm. And yeah, it was awesome.
I definitely spent a lot of time cooking cobblestones so that it would become regular stones, that it would be indistinguishable as a wall.
That is absolutely what I did. Yes, because I wanted to look like it was natural cave wall. Yeah.
And then you find something that's completely unnatural inside. Well, you break down that first layer, and then suddenly you're like, "What is this in here?"
Sometimes what I would do is I would 2x2 or like 2x3 tall, mm-hmm. and then I would brick through the wall so that it was like 5 or 6 deep, so that if somebody started hitting through it, they would think that it was just a normal wall and stop.
Mm-hmm. That's awesome.
Yeah.
It is strange how similar that is, but yeah.
That is really weird.
I definitely did a lot of that stuff.
I mean, honestly, to connect it back, it's some of the weird mythic appeal of the dungeons in this universe. Mm-hmm. I don't know what it is, but it's a sense of discovery, I guess.
Yeah.
It's mystery, and I don't know, the unknown. That's powerful.
And definitely, that speaks back to when you're a kid and you can imagine a lot more possibilities that are maybe actually within the game.
Yeah.
Like, what if eventually you find a pickaxe and you can break through some of these stones? Maybe there's more to these dungeons.
I think as a kid, you just have a much different... I mean, I don't remember, but I just feel like you have a much different sense of what is possible in the game world.
Yeah.
Like here, we're thinking of it very mechanically, but... I mean, like, maybe you, as a kid, you're wandering through the dungeon, maybe you do think you'll encounter someone, or, you know what I mean, or some unique location, or some unique item, something will talk to you. You don't really know.
So I've had this always, for a long time, for years, I've had this, like, niggling germ of an idea in my brain about, like, if I were to create an MMO, what it would be. Sure. And I realized what it would be is, like, small... instance sort of shard servers where it's like the first 100 players that decide that they're going to create a character are put into this one server together.
Interesting.
And then it's filled up. And it's a relatively small world, but the worlds are either generated from, a list of different possibilities, or they're procedural when there's like a global victory condition, and there's particular things that you need to collect, or like a certain action you need to do in a certain place, and you can find clues and stuff about it, and then you can, as a player, sort of ascend the world by solving the world's great crisis, and then all your characters would get pooped out of it and move on to a new server or something. Wow. And it's like just like making it so that you never know exactly like what the solution is, or not for a long time anyway.
That's interesting, man.
Whereas like in MMOs today, it's always obvious exactly what you need to do.
It is.
If you want to progress and do more stuff.
Yeah.
So like trying to bring mystery into that shared experience, I think, is something that I would really like to see happen in MMOs. But
see, mentally, I guess I'm always approaching it from a pen and paper perspective, where there's always kind of your group's experience starts in some specific location. You're exploring something. I don't know, like it's one little piece of some potentially endless, infinite world that extends backwards and forwards into time, like across dimensions. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's almost like the thing that I imagine is more possible in pen and paper than it is in a video game. But
it's a sense of...
I speak video game language far more than I do.
Yeah, I mean,
RPG.
what you're saying doesn't really seem impossible for a game, and I think there are games
Especially now.
Yeah, and I think there are games that approach that. I guess what appeals to me is the kind of sense of, say you're starting a pen and paper game, you start in a town, you step out into the wilderness, and there could be anything out there.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like there could be, I don't know, the ruins of your own civilization, future civilizations, the distant past. The further you delve, the more you find. You know what I mean? Like there's endless mysteries to discover.
And that's when I almost begin to struggle, because it's like there are so many threads, and you have to pick a few, but I want to pick them all.
See, and I guess a Goldman.
Goldman.
Fight him, man.
All right. I dealt 11.
Oh, you got this.
I think we'll get it, but he's new.
He
I wonder
is
if he
new.
drops a lot of gold. I think he does.
That would be incredible if he did. I remember these guys.
You do?
They look familiar, yeah.
Huh?
You did it.
174 gold.
Oh man, Goldman lived up to his name.
Yeah.
But anyway,
Yeah.
What I wanted to just like emphasize is that the pen and paper world, what appeals to me so much about it is that despite having so many concrete a wraith examples, like in that sort of pen and paper, like actual modules, you know what I mean, like specific places that have been delineated. It's the possibility that you could link them all together.
Yeah.
Like you could form an endless world. You could jump across planes. I don't know. It's an endlessness to it. It's the feeling of stepping out, honestly, onto the plains. I imagine as a player character, you know, as an adventurer. I don't know, just the feel of it, the feel of that possibility.
Yeah, definitely.
It's a childhood feel. You know what I mean? Like the world is endless.
Yeah.
And that's what I feel like as a kid you might experience, like looking at this little game world.
Oh god, new town.
Oof!
If we can get to it.
It's a visualization of that sense of wonder and possibility.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, at the same time, there's something very adult about the very setbacks that you have to face in order to experience it, you know?
Especially in this game, where
Yeah.
your setback is you lose a lot of money, which is like such a very like
It's
adult
surprisingly...
real life thing.
Yeah.
Like it's just like, oh,
Oh, shit. It's... Like, I think I've said this before, but it's a very capitalist world you're in here. You know?
nice. Yeah, definitely. Especially because like so much of your progress hinges on spending money.
I mean, it's economic, and it's predicated on hierarchies of literal power.
Yeah.
And then you exercising that power over lesser things, you know what I mean?
Yeah. I'm struggling.
Oh, you are facing the wyvern. The wyvern is deadly.
Yeah, he's just so strong.
Oh my god, man. Are we gonna die?
I saved very recently.
Oh, you did? Okay, good.
Just died. No.
No!
Yeah.
Oh,
Alright.
oh my god, our
I actually
dreams.
meant to run.
Oh, that's okay.
I kind of hit fight
Thou
instead.
art dead. Oh, he wrote us into his fanfic, that beautiful man.
Oh, I lost a shitload of money in that. Oh, I lost 1,000 money. I just want to get to that town.
Endless pontificating. Oof.
How much more do you have in here?
I can go as long as you can, man. I know you have work tomorrow, I think.
I do have to work tomorrow.
I don't. My phone has died, so I do not know what hour it is.
Oh, there's a clock right there.
Oh, there is. So there is. It draws near the midnight hour.
It does. I wonder if Tracy's just asleep.
She may be. I blabbed a lot.
It happens.
Blab, 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 blab.
I need a better weapon.
I feel sad for the gold that we lost.
I also feel sad for that gold.
We just need to go punch a lot of Goldmans. We can get it back.
Yeah, I mean, punch 5 Goldmans and we get it back, but it's punching 5 Goldmans without running into any wyverns.
Can we do that though? Can we
Is it wyvern or like wyvern?
I always called it wyvern. I thought it was
also
corrected and said it was wyvern, but that's why I was saying wyvern. But I thought it was wyvern.
I've always thought it was
since
wyvern.
I was a wee baby person.
Yeah.
Wyvern.
Say in the comments if it's wyvern or wyvern or something.
William
more
Yates Vern.
Yep.
Billy
I'm
Vern.
pretty sure that's what it is. Just an abbreviation.
Yeah, hell it is. Man, we did it.
So what I need to do is I need to find the one row of tiles that lets me start encountering those guys.
The Goldmans. Oh, a Wolf Lord?
Wolf Lord?
What?
Jesus,
Dude, where are you? Where have I been?
Wait, stopping my spells. That will not work. Okay.
Just punch him.
Just keep doing that. Okay, I can't cast spells now.
The Wolf Lord's like, I'll be controlling
Now he's just dead. Alright.
Ooh.
Right.
Okay, we can get our gold back.
So let's see about this.
That's
row.
a legit real setback. Fucking Wyvern.
Alright.
The
Should I just, like, start by running from these guys?
Yeah, I think so. They just heal. Oh, there we go.
Nice.
Thou hast beat feet.